Good evening, good afternoon, and if the sun is rising where you are, good morning to you. Welcome to another wonderful episode of the Buttery Show. My name is Jacqueline Amira. I will be your hostess for this evening, and tonight is very special because I have Nadine here with me. The girls are taking over.
Who run the world? Girls. Beyonce really said something when she said, "Who run the world? Girls," because we do.
We do.
Go
Oh
argue with
my
the wall on that
goodness.
one.
How are you this evening?
I am doing well. I'm so excited to co-host with you. I've heard so many great things about you. I love it. All good things. All good things. I promised. All good things. I promised. Don't you
I
worry about a
normally
thing.
I won't. I was going to say, I normally give a disclaimer to keep your hands, feet, arms, and legs inside the vehicle at all times, but we're going to have fun tonight with this one.
Oh, I'm so excited. Also, hi everyone. Did you miss me? I know it's been like 4 weeks since you've seen my face. I know.
I know.
I'm back.
Yay. And it took a Disney movie to do it. We are
I
covering
know.
Aladdin tonight from 1992.
Whoa!
Oh my God. I
Oh
feel
my
so
God.
old talking about this.
Oh my goodness. It's okay. They don't have to know.
They don't have to know.
They don't gotta know. It's okay. It's all good.
Oh my God, this is a classic, and I'm really surprised that no one else has covered it on this show up until now. Doesn't that surprise you just like a
I
little
know.
bit?
It's a little surprising. I'm not gonna lie. It's a classic Disney movie.
Yes,
It's so
it
many
is.
people's favorites. Come on, y'all.
Yep.
It had to be the both of us, Jacqueline. It had to. The
It was
stars
the, it was
needed
the
to align
1-2
for the
punch that we gave them to
one.
pick it.
Exactly. See, we got it had to be the two of us because listen, the stars needed to align perfectly for
Mhm.
it to be the two of us to talk about this.
Absolutely. I was 8 years old when this movie came out. This many people. This many. Okay.
This I was -6.
-6. That's a good one. Oh
Oh God. Jeez.
oh my God. My lashes are going to fall off. I'm
Oh,
warning
no.
you guys right now.
Oh Lord. Oh God. That was pretty good, I will say. That was
Yeah, but like that was the thing in the 90s. As soon as a Disney movie came out, you had to see it because you knew everyone in your class on the playground was going to talk about it. And you didn't want to get left out of the conversation. So what do? Mom, can we go?
Can we go see it? No.
And then you
We have
stamp your
other
feet on
movies
the
at
floor.
home. Yeah.
Through a tantrum.
Oh, the struggle was real. The
Oh,
struggle really was
absolutely.
real. It's like if you didn't watch it in the theaters, you would wait until it's either on VCR or DVD at the time that I was growing up,
Mm.
or for it to show on TV with commercials in the most inopportune moments.
The Wonderful World of Disney. Mm-hmm.
That's how I watched High School Musical. Like I was like, I couldn't go to the theaters. I didn't have the DVD at the time, so I just stayed up because I grew up in the Philippines, so like air
Oh,
times
wow.
are so completely flipped. I was
Mhm.
watching High School Musical, like dancing in my seat in the couch, like on the couch at 11:30 p.m.
Oh, wow.
The start of something new just started, and I was like, I am awake. I love this movie so much.
Oh my God, High School Musical. Wow. Okay.
Oh
High
my
School
God.
Musical. I love that franchise. I had to learn it one time
Mhm.
when I was being interviewed to run a candy shop and they wanted everybody to be able to sing. And they used that as a reference. This was in my early 20s.
I was like, a candy shop? That's so random. All right.
That's what they wanted. I don't know.
That is true. It'd be like that sometimes. It really do.
Yeah.
Oh man. So back to Aladdin.
Yes, let's hop on the magic carpet. Let's go back on the ride here.
Yes. Let's slide back to Agrabah from Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Turn left and out. We are going to be so much trouble for you guys tonight. I can already tell.
Half the conversation, we're just going to be laughing. You're not going to hear anything. It's just us laughing. I'm sorry in advance, but also not sorry because we're having a good time.
I'm sorry.
Oh my goodness. Okay, go ahead.
So, I mean, the classic, of course, involves the street urchin Aladdin, who is a diamond in the rough. He, lives on the street, steals to survive. He has his friend Abu, and he encounters Princess Jasmine, who is being forced to marry, oh my goodness, by her next birthday to a prince. Doesn't matter if she likes him or not. And she doesn't want it. Who could blame her? And her one friend is a big kitty named Raja.
Big kitty. You love Big Kitty.
Oh, yeah. Again, had a personality of his own. And of course, what fairy tale is complete without its villain? In this case, we have Jafar, the royal advisor, and his trusted companion, loudmouth Iago. Who obviously, Gilbert Gottfried, I loved that man. What a unique voice. You're not going to find anybody on this planet that can talk like him.
R.I.P. R.I.P. too. Oh my goodness. When I heard that he passed away, I was like, who else is going to be screaming in my ear?
Who else is going to be the principal from Problem Child?
Oh my goodness. Who's going to tell me to eat the biscuit? You eat the biscuit now. Oh my God. Actually, I feel like Danny DeVito could do that job. He could. He could. Yeah. It's a stretch, but he could.
He could. And of course, Aladdin encounters Jasmine and falls in love. And she has to be married to a prince. So he agrees after being captured by Jafar's minions. I'll call them minions. They're the royal palace guard, but
minions is better.
Yeah. Jafar lures Aladdin to go into the Cave of Wonders and retrieve the lamp. And Jafar tricks him, throws him back into the cave. And if he didn't do that, we wouldn't get the wonderful appearance of the Genie, played by Robin Williams, who stole the show in this movie. I don't care that he wasn't given top billing. I don't care about the fallout between Disney and Robin Williams that took place around this film. We'll get into that in a little bit. But he was that movie. He was comedy relief. He was the supporting actor. At times he did play hero, and he did play cheerleader very well. Genie does turn Aladdin into a prince, and he pursues Jasmine. It doesn't go as well as you'd hope, at least not at first. Jafar figures it out that he has the Genie, and all chaos ensues once Iago tricks Aladdin into abandoning the lamp. But it's all okay because we do get a happily ever after, and Aladdin does fulfill his promise to free the Genie. And then we get one of the best endings I've ever seen to a movie ever, where he goes, "Made you look."
Yeah. I rewatched the movie today, and I honestly forgot about the "made you look" part. And I was like, what happened here?
I loved it. It was such a gotcha. Like, you're still watching.
Yeah. Like, oh, good. You're still here.
So how old were you when you watched this for the first time?
Oh my gosh. So I'm gonna dive a little bit into the music because that's part of why I even got to watch it in the first place. So as y'all know, who you've seen them, if you've seen the movie, y'all know Miss Lea Salonga, the ever so iconic Miss Lea Salonga, voice of an angel, honestly. Yes. She's the one who voices Princess Jasmine's singing voice. And being a Filipino, we are very prideful in all of our like artists and anyone who's even remotely Filipino who's in like TV or film or national television.
Or like Miss Saigon on Broadway. She was in
that too. Oh my God. Miss Saigon. Once she got on Miss Saigon, she put everybody on the map. She got her Tony, Miss Leia Salonga, she just did her thing, right?
She
So
did.
the first time I was introduced, I believe it might have been my aunt. It might have been my aunt or one of her kids who watched the movie first. And she said, "Oh, did you know that the person singing for Princess Jasmine, she's Filipino. She's Filipino. Sorry to bring out the accent, but you know that's how they told me." And I was like, "Oh, okay, I want to listen to her." And then I watched the movie and I fell in love. I think I was probably about four or five. Don't really have any solid recollection of it besides hearing A Whole New World. That's what really became the core memory for me, is just listening to Leia Salonga, hearing her in A Whole New World, and then later on in Mulan. Oh, ooh, so good. So that was my first impression of Aladdin and the first time I ever watched it. How about you? When did you first watch Aladdin?
I saw that thing when it premiered, November 25th, 1992. Oh my God. Like, Disney premieres were huge back in the day. They would take over Radio City Music Hall in New York, and do like this grandiose number with heroes and villains. And at the very end, they would show the movie. I got to see The Lion King this way also in 94. And like, it's one of those things where if you don't see it like that, you'll never get a shot to do that now. They don't do that anymore.
Dang.
But yeah, it was amazing. It was a lot of fun. A lot of almost like animatronic suits that you'd see at the theme parks, with like no microphones, no mouths moving, just the characters coming out and like dancing around and doing their thing, and then they go back. Because the goal isn't the characters, it's to get you hooked into the movie. But I remember looking at that like, hey, there's someone that kind of looks like me up there. That's the first time I've seen that from a princess. This is pretty cool. I like this.
Oh, I love that.
And then it's, Mom, I want a magic carpet. Can we go get one?
Any rug you look at, is that a magic carpet? Can I
pull on it?
Yeah. Can it save me from a falling rock in a cave? I don't know about that.
Yeah, but my God, I feel so old again. 92.
I love that you got to experience that though. That must have been really, really unique, especially going somewhere like Radio City Music Hall. Like that's right now that's exclusive to just the Rockettes and SNL, I think. Right?
Yeah.
Or whatever's there. But that must have been so special to see one of now the classic Disney films and seeing it from a whole new perspective, and getting to watch it in such an iconic and such a classic part of the New York City experience.
It's also cool that my mom would have a limo come get me from school, and it was full of candy and toys from the Disney store. So all my friends got really jealous, like, sucker.
That sounds so, oh my gosh, that sounds so freaking fun. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it was. Let's deep dive into this, because even though it's a cartoon, it covers a lot of relevant topics, even relevant now. Being forced into marriage without really consent. It's just law, and it's not even for love. And even in the live action film, it kind of goes a different direction with Princess Jasmine becoming Sultan. And again, she doesn't want to marry for the wrong reasons there either. But it became more about being able to rule on your own with the live action versus with the animated film, being able to marry whoever she wants. There's still a common theme of independence with it.
Yes, definitely. Excuse me. And I like, there's a line, it's a very short, very iconic moment though, when Aladdin as Prince Ali Ababa and Jafar were basically fighting over Jasmine, saying, "Oh, if she just meets me, if she just meets me, I'm sure she'll fall in love with me." Blah 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 blah. And then she storms in saying, "I am not a prize to be won. I am not a prize to be won." And that opens up a really, really great conversation. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. It opens up a really, really great conversation about, girls and women and femme presenting people who just want to stand in their power and their independence as their own person, and them being able to have their own autonomy in making their decisions for themselves, especially when it comes to something as big and sometimes
Yeah.
scary as marriage. You're
Your
entering.
whole life.
Yeah, exactly. You're sharing your life with somebody who you might not even like, and
Ugh.
you might be miserable with for the rest of your life. So
Mhm.
imagine if she just married somebody again that she doesn't like and she does not give a single F about,
Mhm.
and just her being in that big castle with him making all the rules and decisions, and in Jasmine's words, having my life lived for
For
me.
me. Mhm.
So it really struck a chord. It strikes a chord as an adult. It strikes a chord when you're a kid, but it not in a way that you're like, you know what, yeah, she has to be an independent woman and blah blah blah. But it strikes a chord as a kid because you're just like, oh, what does that mean to not be a what is it to not be a prize to be won? That's not
Yeah,
me. I don't
like
know
a
what that
trophy
means.
wife would
Yeah,
be the equivalent of an
exactly.
adult.
Yeah, and then you grow up and you're like, "Oh, that's
I
what
get
she
it now.
means. I get it now." So I really love that. I love that so much because that's the structure of Jasmine's life. Her whole life is to be her own person, and in
Mhm.
the end, um, she finally is able to change her father, the Sultan's mind, and say, "You know what? Whoever the Jasmine marries, he has to be worthy of her."
Mhm.
And again, striking as an adult because you're like, you know what, that is true. My
Right.
partner in my life, they need to be worthy of me. I need to like them too.
Yeah, that's important. You gotta like your partner.
Exactly. I'd like to hear your perspective on like some heavy hitting moments in the movie.
Oh, I towards the end when Genie and Aladdin hug, and this kind of ties into your thing a little bit, where he goes, "No matter what anybody says, you'll always be a prince to me." Like that's the thing that snaps the Sultan to go. You know what? He's right. All right, I'm gonna change the law now. Like that was a very strong theme in this movie. It's on the inside that counts. Look how the movie starts off with Aladdin stealing from the market and dodging the guards. I can't talk. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Me too. Me too.
I think that
All
theme's
good.
relevant now. It's what's on the inside that counts for people not to be as judgmental based on a first impression or an appearance. And good God, we have social media now. So the
Mm,
whole judging on appearance is amplified,
hmm
if that, because you're judging based on what you see in that particular moment, a picture, a video, or in like a tweet or a post on Facebook. I don't really get into too many social media apps.
Yes, and that's definitely an epidemic that's been happening. Sorry to I just kind of want to
Oh,
interject
you're
and make this point
wrong.
because yeah, like it's a great point that you bring up that you can judge some based because of social media and the shortened attention span as more and more social media platforms come out.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we as people have been conditioned to judge others just based on the 0.5 seconds that we see them online,
Mm-hmm.
and that brings up the whole epidemic of people we really know people, we just know profiles and such of each
Yeah.
other rather than like having that deep connection and even when you scratch the surface, some people think that that's deep already, but you're just getting through like a little bit of the nitty and not
Yeah.
the gritty of somebody's personal life.
And people pick and choose what they want to put on there. So you could only be seeing what that one person wants to show at that particular time. That doesn't describe them as a complete person at all,
Mhm.
unless that person chooses to reveal such. And there are people that do. I'm not saying there aren't, but you also have the opposite.
That's true. You do have people who show, I guess, like not the worst, but they don't show everything
Right.
about them. They leave it up to mystery and such. So
Or
yeah.
be verified people. Do your research. If
Yeah.
you find someone sketchy, there's sites that can help you.
Exactly. Like with also going back with taking that point and going back to the whole social media thing, we can find anything about everyone at this point.
Oh yeah.
And it's so scary how that happens sometimes.
It's a good thing sometimes. Sometimes you got to do your homework. But sometimes
That's
it's like, I'm sorry, you know what? Okay.
Yeah.
Awkward.
That's true. That is so true. Oh my goodness. Oh, oh, oh. So good. It's God. There's so many good moments here. Oh my goodness. Oh, Jafar's ulterior motive to become the king, like that,
Mhm.
the king to become the sultan, like that whole manipulation tactic. Like I'm sure it's a decades old. It's a decades old, I guess, theme. It's
Yeah.
a running theme amongst like kingdoms and anything that has to have a ruler and such. But the way that he's going about it, though.
Ooh. Yeah. Hypnotizing them and go run along and play with your little toys now.
Mhm. Like he thinks the Sultan's dumb, and it's like, no, he's not. You,
Yeah.
you're making him think he's dumb. You know what that is? Gaslighting.
Ding ding ding.
Oh my god.
But he gets his though. And he gets turned into a genie. He gets tricked himself. So who's the dumb one now?
Exactly. Exactly. Oh my gosh. Justin Jafar be nasty and scheming.
Mm-hmm. You nailed it.
True. Also, hi Justin. Hi Jen. Hi Wolf. Hi everybody. Welcome to the stream.
Hello,
Jafar
people
do be
I have not
nasty.
met yet. Hello.
Oh, this is Jacqueline. She's beautiful and we love her.
Aww.
I will protect her at all costs.
Bring it on. Everybody was kung fu fighting.
Takes carpet, slaps
These are
people
the
with
jokes,
it.
guys.
Half the time, again, for people who are just coming in, half the time we're gonna be here, we're laughing.
Mm-hmm. We
don't
cracked each other up. It's been happening before this thing went on. So.
True. You know, that's called chemistry.
Brian's probably sitting somewhere going, I knew this would work. I told them this would work.
Probably. Oh my gosh. Ooh, what's it called? 1 second. I did want to touch upon the fact that Aladdin had to disguise himself into a prince to get attention from Jasmine because he thinks he's worth nothing, worth next to nothing. Because
There's
he's
that
poor.
pesky law, though.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes laws can be a good thing, kids, but sometimes they just don't make sense. And this is one of them.
Exactly. Like, why does their social... I mean, given the time period that the movie was based off of, it makes... Unfortunately, it does make sense that that law was in place. But looking at it in a more advanced, I guess, advanced time period, it really doesn't make any sense. Like anybody is not... A person's worth is not measured by the financial values they have. Because if they can have all the riches in the world, right? Like all those princes that Jasmine kept rejecting, they can have all the riches in the world, but if they're self-centered, if they don't care about other people, if they have very little to no empathy for other people, I can't. How are you supposed to live with somebody like that? And
if the tiger wants to bite you and takes part of your shorts with them, that means you're not a good person. Exactly. Animals know people.
They do.
They're excellent judges of character.
Exactly. Animals and babies.
Yes, absolutely.
Babies don't know it. They're just like, oh, weird person. Don't want your attention. Goodbye.
I'm gonna just go over here.
I'm just gonna make my way over that way. Goodbye.
I love how animated they made Raja. They really tried so hard to make Raja like a person, even though he's a tiger. Like when Raja hugs Jasmine and she's sad, hugs her like a person.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember rewatching that moment. And I was like, Raja, I want my own Raja. Not that big though, but I want my own
Babe, I
Raja.
want a Raja.
Like, I want a Raja. He'll be too big, but I want a Raja. He seems so nice.
Or when he gets mad when Jasmine says, I don't have any real friends, he's like, hey, like, what about me?
Seriously, he gets up and he's like, what'd you say? I'm sorry. I just want to make sure you said what you said. Can you say that again? Can you say that with your whole chest, ma'am? Oh my gosh.
Abu was very animated too, if we're going the route of animals here. I mean, he was a smart aleck.
He really was.
Blah, blah, blah. You know, he picks on Aladdin for going all goo goo gaga over Jasmine.
Oh my gosh, he's like Phil from Hercules. He's like,
yes.
Don't go losing yourself over a pair of goo goo eyes. Except, you know, he can't say that. So he's just.
And there's the Danny DeVito tie-in right there.
Oh my god, yes! Danny DeVito is a Disney princess, confirmed.
Yes. Did you notice how in this movie snakes are the representation of evil?
Goes back to biblical times, I think.
Yep, with the snake staff and then Jafar turning himself into one. Aladdin says, you cowardly snake.
And the color red. Like, there's a lot of warm tones throughout the movie. Like, there's a lot of oranges and even a little bit of the purple is even the cooler toned colors like the purples, the blues and such.
Yeah.
Like, they still have their warmth to it. I guess like the person who has like the coolest toned blue would be Jasmine and Genie. But the rest, it's warm and such. But it really makes a stark difference when you see Jafar and his just full on red, like a true red, in contrast to everything around him. So, you know, you could just tell that, like, oh yeah, he blends in with the background as a villain because, you know, he still has his ulterior motives, but he doesn't want to be like, he stands out enough, but he can still blend in if he wants to.
They made him very calm, and that was a key. That was a key thing to that role. They didn't want him scary, you know, big, bulking, overpowering. They wanted him calm. They thought a calm villain would be scarier for this movie than a raged, yelling one.
Yeah,
I mean, he does yell at the end, to be fair, but for the most part, he's pretty chill, and like makes moves on the quiet.
Yeah, he's pretty smart. I will say, for a villain, he's really, really smart.
Yeah,
like all his moves that he makes, they're quite literally like in the shadows, and he can manipulate himself to look like other people. Like when he lured Aladdin to finally open the Cave of Wonders, he dressed up as an old man to do it.
Or he'll get other people to do it for him. He sends in the thief at the Cave of Wonders in the beginning. He sends the guards to go fetch Aladdin to lock him up in the first place. So it's technically not him that does it. So he kind of gets I didn't know. I just sent this person out. He can play stupid.
Yeah.
He has to.
He really can. And it's a very smart move for a villain to do because his hands technically aren't dirty, but he does he's doing all the dirty mental work. Out of context, that sounds so bad.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't do what we just said.
Don't do that. No. But in this context, he's playing chess. Everyone else is playing checkers. Everyone else is his pawn, and he's the king.
And the pawns go first. So.
The pawns go first. Like the pawns suffer the most. Like they just do what he has to tell them.
Yeah.
I like that he's such a cool, calm, collected villain though. Like in contrast to other Disney villains out there, like they can be calculated too, but they lose themselves.
Right. Somewhere. Or they do the bad stuff themselves. They don't get other people or things to do it for them.
Exactly. And when he does finally take matters into his own hands, he goes a little too far.
A little bit, yeah.
Just get a little too far. Just a little bit. Oh my gosh. Excuse me, just a sip of water one second.
Sure, absolutely.
Hydrate. get some water, y'all.
That
Hydrate.
is very important, especially with the heat wave that we are having right now.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Oh, we got a lot of comments going on.
I
Would you
know.
like
I'm looking
to?
at them like, hey, now.
Oh, I like this one. Kind of funny. Jasmine got mad at Aladdin for lying when she did the same thing.
Yep.
True. She did do
Double
the same thing.
standard.
She's like, I am the exception because I'm the princess and I saved your butt from being killed. Like, girl, you're the one who is also in disguise at the market, stealing apples for the greater good.
Yeah. It's her first time outside the palace. She gets a pass from me. Doesn't know how the world outside the walls works. So
true. Goes back to our point of her life being lived for her.
Mm-hmm.
She probably has people brushing her teeth for her. Like, she does not touch a single thing in her life. She just stands there and everybody makes her pretty. And she just has to walk around and look pretty. Come on now. I have a question from Justin. What are your favorite Genie jokes and moments by Robin Williams, Final Cut, and BTS? Oh my gosh.
You actually brought up a very interesting point. I wanted to make sure we covered this tonight.
Yes.
Robin Williams and Disney had a falling out during the making of this film. Initially, he wanted $8 million to voice the role of the Genie. He agreed to go back to a SAG scale pay of 75 grand in exchange for certain limits and provisions that come along with the role of the Genie itself. He didn't want Robin Williams as the Genie to take over the Aladdin film, which makes sense from a Disney standpoint, but also because of his movie Toys that was being released about a month after the release of Aladdin. He didn't want more than 25% being used in advertising, marketing, slogans. He didn't want his likeness to get used to sell products because he wasn't going to get a cut from that. Did Disney listen? No. They did the exact opposite. And they tried to schmooze things over with him by sending him $1 million Pablo Picasso painting, an oil painting, but it did not go with his Wilder home theme. So that was a wait, thumbs down. There you go. See that? It wasn't until the CEO changed hands that he actually got a formal apology from Disney for what they did during the run of Aladdin, which explains why he did not come back for the first sequel, direct-to-video Return of Jafar, but he did come back as the Genie for 1996, the third installment, Aladdin and the King of Thieves, which I love that he brought Mrs. Doubtfire into it. Listen to Genie, dear. Genie knows. I love that he brought her in there. But Genie, I loved how he got to be, Robin Williams got to be himself and be the Genie at the same time, where he's playing with the rug in the palace and he goes, "Oh, Rodney Dangerfield, I can't believe it. I'm losing the rug." Like, he got to branch out and be funny.
Mm-hmm.
And Disney let him do it. And I'm glad they did.
Mm-hmm.
And I love how Genie is trying to get Aladdin to tell her the truth. And you see the attachment start to form when Jafar drops Aladdin into the ocean. And Genie wants to help him, but he knows he can't because of the rules of the lamp. And he finally decides, you know what? If he loses a wish, fine. I don't want to lose my friend, and saves him. Like, that's one of my favorite parts. You see a very strong friendship forming between two very unlikely entities. What about you?
Good segue, because I actually do love that moment as well. When Aladdin gets dropped into the ocean by Jafar and his men doing his dirty work. But that's besides the point.
Evil.
10 billion dollars. Sorry, I forgot what. So that moment of Aladdin getting dropped, but it's not the moment of him getting dropped that's my favorite. It's the way he comes in with like you said, with the towel, and he's like, "It's always when you're in a bath that somebody asks for a wish," and he's like, "Oh, hold on, what? Friend Aladdin, what are you doing? Are you okay?" Like, just the utter concern that he has for Aladdin, and just how Robin Williams played this character and essentially became this character.
Mm-hmm.
Or rather, Genie became Robin Williams. They were one and the same, essentially.
Exactly.
So I'm just reiterating what you said. Like, I loved how he was able to bring a lot of himself, which is a good point you brought, that he was able to bring and do a lot of what he always does anyway into this character. And with all the different jokes that he has, the timing, the delivery it's so fan freaking tastic. And Friend Like Me, so good. Such a good performance. Oh my goodness.
Absolutely.
So good. That's come on. That's such a great intro to any character, is to just have this larger than life introduction with signs and costume changes and magic. It was like, it's musical theater packed into a 4-minute song.
Exactly. That's probably why it's doing so well as a Broadway musical also.
I got to see it. It was so good.
You did?
I did. It was wonderful.
Oh my God, I'm jealous.
It was wonderful. There were a lot of moments that were cut out and reworked. Obviously, like, you can't have a full movie into it's some things, like, I've learned to accept, that certain things, when translated being from one to another, they have to be reworked, they have to be cut out, and blah blah blah, things of that nature. So I accepted that. But the soundtrack, oh my God, the soundtrack for the Broadway musical is fan freaking tastic. Like, there is, that moment in the movie where Aladdin and Jasmine, they talk about how Aladdin feels like he's trapped and she feels trapped. He feels trapped because he's poor and he has to scrape for food all the time. And she feels trapped because she's in this big old castle with her life being lived for her. In the musical, they have a song together in that moment.
Aww.
It's so beautiful. It's called A Million Miles Away. If y'all would like to listen, it's so good. It's so fan. I bought the mug from the show.
Yay!
Please do not judge the contents inside. I ate cereal before this, okay? So I have this mug from the show. It's beautiful. And then inside you have the lamp. It's very simple, beautiful. We freaking love her. It's such a beautiful show. The second act, it feels rushed. There's so many missing details. Like, that's understandable. But if you can see it, whenever it comes back to LA or to Florida, where you are based, I'm assuming. Yes. We mentioned this earlier.
So. The comments, I told you so. I just saw one pop in and I'm like, I knew it. I knew he was going to do that.
Oh my gosh. Hi, Ryan.
I told you so. He was going to be like, I knew it. I can put these two together. It's going to work.
The crossover you didn't know you needed, but you deserved. Yes, absolutely. Oh my gosh. Welcome. Hi, Ryan. Good to see you. Good to see you.
It's all in good fun. We love you.
We love you sometimes. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding, Ryan. I'm kidding. I kid. But man, Robin Williams did so much for his role as the Genie. But also with that, he allowed for future actors to take over for Genie, whether it be the Disneyland show, when it was the Disneyland show for a while, the Broadway show, and now the Will Smith version of it. It allowed for them to take the role into their own hands, but at the same time still bring Robin's essence of comedy and timing and delivery and just pure acting into the role without them losing their own touch to it. Like, absolutely. Yes, they're big shoes to fill.
Oh yeah.
But it's not too big that it's impossible to fill.
No. I did see on Good Morning America where the original Genie from Broadway was being replaced and they let Whoopi Goldberg be the genie for like one day, and she popped out and goes, "How's that for a smoking entrance?" All dressed up as the genie, like, oh my God. Just all the backstage workings of that show. I wouldn't want to leave. I'd be like, nope, you guys go home. I'll lock up. I'll be here.
Yeah, the stage design for that show was absolutely beautiful. The way that they did A Whole New World with the floating carpet, you can't tell where the wires are. And
Oh,
usually
wow.
and usually for shows or anything of the sort that needs not harness work necessarily, but just fly work. I guess that's what I don't know. I don't know the technical term for it. If you know, please let me know. You could tell that if there's like a clothing being snagged a little bit. You could tell if there's a little bit of tightening there, but in the show you literally cannot see it.
Wow.
I looked so I watched videos afterwards. I'm like, where's the string? Where's the string? Where is it? You can't find it. It is beautiful. Oh my goodness.
That is definitely something I'll have to add to our list of things to do.
Oh my gosh. And the fantastic thing is the original actor for the Broadway show, Adam Jacobs, his sister, I forgot her name. Adam Jacobs' sister. Ariel Jacobs. She's the one doing Jasmine for the Australian run of the show.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
It's so good. They're so amazing together. It's wonderful. Oh my gosh. The impact of Aladdin, ladies, gentlemen, and non-binary friends of the stream. There you go. Oh, we got a hashtag Raja is the best. You know, you're absolutely right.
You know it.
You know it. Favorite jokes by Iago, R.I.P. Gilbert Gottfried. Yes, R.I.P. Oh my gosh. Anytime he's on, honestly.
It's hilarious.
Oh, him imitating Jasmine though to get Aladdin's attention.
Ali, can you come here? And the flamingo stares at him.
And he's like, wow, who is that? And he's like, what are you looking at? Get away from me.
Got a problem, Pinky?
He's like, creep. And he just like, come on. He's such a great voice actor with such an iconic voice. You can't mistake him for anybody else. Like, it could be somebody doing an impression of Gilbert Gottfried, but
absolutely.
Yeah. Do you have any favorite moments from Iago, Jacqueline?
I feel like he got to shine a bit more in the direct-to-video sequels with Return of Jafar, him actually leaving Jafar and showing that he could change. And he had that whole I'm looking out for me number. And then in The King of Thieves, you know, he saw kind of like a Jafar, but not quite in Aladdin's dad and agrees to go with him. So like he got to shine more, and it makes sense because he's not supposed to be a main character in the direct video sequels.
See, I need to rewatch those direct video sequels. I remember King of Thieves, mainly the room with the golden hand and the sands were falling in. That's the only part I remember, but everything else I need to rewatch.
Oh yes, please do.
It's so good. I'll report back and let you know what I think and rewatching it as an adult. Wingwolf said Jafar is at least in the top 10 Disney villains. Absolutely. Side note, I'm going to go off on this tangent. Who is your number one villain?
Number one villain. I gotta go with Scar from The Lion King, just because the way he orchestrated Mufasa's death and blamed it on a child. That's pretty sinister right there. And took over Pride Rock and everything until, you know, Simba comes home as an adult. But just that whole scheming. And when he grabs him and goes, "Long live the king," and lets him go, I cried at the premiere. I was a sobbing mess from the second row. Like, no, they killed him.
I'm just imagining you as a child just holding on to the little armrests of the theater. No, tears in your eyes. Oh, Mom, why did they do that?
Every kid in that theater cried. It wasn't just me, okay?
Not a dry eye. Honestly, same. I feel the same way watching it in. I think it was already in VHS by the time that I watched it.
Hmm.
Same way. I was in my crib just holding onto the corners, holding onto the corners of my crib and just crying, sobbing my eyes out because of just how sad that scene was.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. So good. So freaking good. Ugh, my heart. Freaking pain. Ooh, I do want to dive into the music
Yes, let's
of
do, please.
I do want to dive in. So, if y'all didn't know, Brad Kane and Leia Salonga were the singing voices of Princess Jasmine and Aladdin, and I believe they reunited for the 20th. I think they might have
Yeah, I
reunited
think
for
we did.
at some point. They're fantastic. Oh my goodness. I feel like their voices barely aged.
Oh no, not at all.
Not at all. So did you have what is your favorite? What is your favorite song and or like song sequence? Because I mean the fact that they're able to make this movie into a Broadway musical, they had to have seen the potential of the 2D animations being on Broadway, being on stage, and they sequenced it that way. So what is your favorite musical moment in the entire show, in the entire movie? Sorry.
My favorite musical moment has to be Prince Ali. I love how Robin Williams just like runs around and does all these different things and is trying to pump Aladdin up, and they all go for it. Even Iago starts dancing, until Jafar goes like, "Hey, I don't know, you're a bad guy."
Like in the middle of him interrogating the Sultan with his
uh,
stick, he's like, "Who's that? What's happening?"
but on the subject of music, the Peebo Bryson and Regina Bell version of A Whole New World is the only Disney song to this day to get Grammy recognition and win Song of the Year. No High School Musical, Zombies, Descendants, Hannah Montana, no other Disney entity has accomplished this feat yet. I'm sure it will again. Just hasn't.
I'm I'm surprised Frozen didn't win one with how popular Let It Go was.
Mm-hmm.
But dang, honestly, our '90s Disney ballad king, Peebo Bryson, he did that.
Surprised he didn't get it for Beauty and the Beast too.
That's my
But
absolute favorite. Oh my god. That's my absolute the fact that oh god, I can't.
it struck a nerve.
I will cry. Cuz oh my gosh, cuz I can this has nothing to do with Aladdin, of course, but I just want to talk about how I discovered that Peebo Bryson and Celine Dion even did a song together. So it's like a Marvel movie credit, but it was like the early 2000s when I first watched Beauty and the Beast.
Mm-hmm.
I just sat through the whole VCR, the whole VHS viewing of Beauty and the Beast.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, I don't want to rewind it. I just want to play through the credits. You'll see what happens. And then you see the behind the scenes video of Peebo Bryson and Celine Dion singing it. And I was like, excuse me, where has this been all my life? Ah. And same thing for Aladdin with Regina
Mm-hmm.
Bell. Is it Regina or Regine? It's Regina. Regina
Okay.
Bell. Fantastic. Oh my goodness. And oh my goodness. What did you think when you first heard that song? Where like do you recall your first memory with the ballad version, the '90s ballad version of A Whole New World?
Well, yeah, I mean, it played during the end credits, but like I think I had every Disney soundtrack on cassette tape back in the day with that big long jacket that would expand when you pulled it out of the case, and like you saw them in the Palace of Agrabah, and I just thought to myself, you know what? I want to do that one day. I want to act, I want to sing, I want to do Disney stuff. Like it looks like fun. Exhibit A. Look at this thing.
Man, Disney has such a grip on all of us as kids, and even to
Absolutely.
this day, I mean, clearly we're doing an Aladdin discussion. Oh my goodness, the grip, it has on all of us.
The
It's fantastic.
one contained.
And he's in a Jello box. The long contained Genie, and then he has like a little shy dialogue, and everyone else around him is clapping. Oh my gosh, just there's so many good moments, so many fantastic moments in the. I keep referring to it as a show. It's a movie.
Might as
In the
well have been a
movie,
show.
that's true. Wait, did it ever have a TV? Because with certain Disney shows and Disney movies, I know some of them um they had TV shows to sequel later on, like Little Mermaid, Hercules, Lilo and Stitch had one as well. Did Aladdin have one?
I know they had a Jasmine series with the whole Disney princess. They had like this little theme, like each princess would teach a certain lesson. I remember I had the videos for those, but I don't. Let me see. I've got my iPad here. Let me see if I can find it. Nope, not The Lion King. Wrong movie.
Wait, now that you mention, oh my god! Now that you mention the princess, that show where the princess teaches you a different lesson, oh my god, that struck a nerve. It dug a hole in my deep dark memory. I think I remember watching that.
I had the videos.
I totally forgot about that. Oh my god, I totally forgot about watching that show.
I don't see anything in here about a cartoon sequel. I wouldn't be surprised if there were, given the path.
Given how influential this became, I wouldn't be surprised. Oh, Wolf said that the Winged Wolf said that it did have an animated TV show.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Yeah. I don't recall ever watching it, but I think it might be on Disney Plus. Let me actually look if that is the case. Un moment. Oh my gosh, it is taking 10,000 years. 10,000 years.
Give you such a crick in the neck.
For real. 10 minutes can give you a crick in the neck sometimes. 10 What happened? Okay, I think.
Yeah, there it is. It had 3 seasons.
Oh, it had wow. It lasted for a while. Aladdin TV show.
Dan Castaneda voiced the genie for this one too.
Oh, was this during the Robin Williams and Disney fallout? I'm assuming. Dang, that is so wild.
Yeah.
That Robin Williams did not want a single bit of top billing for this show or for this movie.
Well, not if you're not going to pay him what he wants. I mean, 8 million, 75 grand. That's a big difference.
That is true. I wonder. That makes me wonder if any of the cast members also had issues. Probably not. If we didn't hear anything from them, if it was just mainly from Robin Williams, then then it makes sense.
Yeah. And they used him more than the others to sell toys, Happy Meals, you name it.
Like you name it, they sold it. Oh my god. That's true. They did do that because ironically, understandably so, because he became so iconic to the movie that when you think of Aladdin, sometimes you don't even think about Aladdin himself. You just think of Robin Williams as the genie.
If you look at the old VHS cover or even the advertisements for it, the genie's like this big and Aladdin and Jasmine are about that big. So that'll tell you something right there.
That is true. Dang. R.I.P. Robin Williams. R.I.P. Gilbert Gottfried. Very iconic to this movie in general. Was Robin Williams ever in another Disney movie besides Aladdin? So, complete side note.
I know he's done other animated works that have been covered previously on the show, like in Robots. He voiced a supporting character role. He was still funny, but let me see.
Gotcha. Did you have any last final mentions before we wrap up?
I was going to ask you that.
Same brain.
I know.
We've been on the same wavelength this whole time. I'm so happy.
Me too.
But before I do my wrap-ups, it has been such an honor getting to host with you.
Likewise, I feel the same. This has been a lot of fun.
This has been a lot of fun. Like, I have been just laughing my butt off this whole time and learning. You've teach Jesus Christ, I cannot talk. You have taught me so many things the last hour, especially with the Robin Williams Fallout thing and him in his role as the genie, which is it's such a deep cut fact to know about, but it's so wonderful. But nonetheless, he made Aladdin the iconic movie that it is.
Yes, he did.
Him alongside.
And we will never forget ever that he was the genie. That's it.
Exactly. There may be others, but he's the one and only.
Absolutely.
Oh,
never imitated, never duplicated.
Genie of the lamp. Oh, I did want to touch upon the 2019 remake before we go.
Sure.
How did you feel? What were your initial thoughts? Like, I know this is about the 1992 movie, which is untouchable at this point. How did you feel? What were your thoughts? What were the feelings?
I knew not to expect Robin Williams 2.0 going into it. I already had that expectation set. I like that they gave Princess Jasmine a lot more depth about wanting to rule on her own. They gave her a bestie. She didn't have that in the animated film. Raja was still Raja and still threatened the suitors. I love that part. Yeah, kitty, kitty. Yeah, kitty, kitty. I'll go with the animals. Yeah, no, you're not. It held up well on its own for what it was. But my heart belongs to the animated. That's just not going to change.
I feel that. Same way, honestly. Like I share a lot of the same sentiments. Because again, like I mentioned, the first movie, the animated 1992 version, it is untouchable on its own. Like, it can hold its own, honestly. The 2019 remake, it was spectacular to watch. The VFX, the choreographies, the actors, the performances, all the practical effects too. Like, if you break it down as a movie, it's great. It's fantastic. But if we want to hold it against the very first movie it was based off of, they're two completely different movies. But it was still beautiful though. So
and Jafar wasn't looking to marry her. He just wanted to rule. I liked that part of the 2019 version.
It made his motives very, very clear from the get-go, because he doesn't have two focuses he doesn't have two main things that he needs to focus on. He just has to take over the kingdom, and that's it. Oh, I missed this comment. Hold on. Hashtag Raja is best.
Oh, we got that one.
Oh, did I?
Yeah. But we could say it twice. I don't mind.
you could say it twice. Oh, animals are the perfect liar detectors.
Yes, we are.
Absolutely right. That is true, Justin. Thank you. Well, guys, Jacqueline.
Yes.
This has been so fantastic.
I know.
To do this with you. Oh my goodness. Where can the people find you?
You can find me on Instagram, Jacqueline Amira, all lowercase letters all together. And what about you?
Y'all can oh my god, can I find myself? That's a good question.
Where's Nadine?
It's like, where is Nadine? It's like there's so many people that we've had here. Amazing. Oh, I found it. Here we go. Y'all can find me at Nadinasaurus everywhere on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and on Twitch, where I stream. Or tomorrow will be my 2-year stream anniversary, which I'm very excited to celebrate. That is a TBD on what to do. Any final thoughts before we sign off, Jacqueline?
This is the first Disney movie I've gotten to cover on this show. And I'm glad I got to do it with you. I'm so happy.
It has been such an I already mentioned this, but it has been such an honor getting to co-host with you, and I'm so happy. You are such a bright, bubbly person. Can we just we're having a moment, okay? Everyone look away. We're having a moment here. We're gonna have a little bit of a simpy moment here, okay? Jacqueline, you were so wonderful. I look forward to another day another day and another show that we get to host together and such.
You see that, Ryan? Make it happen.
Make it happen, Ryan.
I'm gonna question you again if you don't. I know you can't handle it.
It's like, we'll twist your arm if we have to and pin you to the ground. I'm just kidding. No. We're not gonna. For legal reasons, we're not gonna pin you to the ground. Okay, that never happened. That's not what I said.
No.
Thank you both for covering a classic. Of course. It was such a pleasure getting to it. It was a pleasure getting to talk about this with all of you. All right. Well, if that'll be it, Jacqueline, would you like to sign us off?
On behalf of Nadine and I, thank you so much for hanging out with us this long. My goodness. This was a long one. Until the popcorn kernels rise again, be awesome, be kind, be a beacon of light in this thing that we call life. We love you. Mwah. Good night.
Woo! Thank you, everybody. Bye. Oh, follow us on all socials at The Buttery Show. Okay, bye.
And Morphin Network. Sorry, I had to throw that.
Oh, yes, and the Morphin Network and Growing Up in the 90s. I'm sorry, we forgot. We love you.
This is the first run.
It's fine. They don't have to know. It's okay. It's okay. All right, everybody, take care. Have a good rest of your day or night wherever you are. Much love as always. Bye.